The day I saw Uchenna, standing at our compound entrance again, I thought my heart had stopped beating for a moment. The entire world around me went silent. I stood frozen near the doorway, staring at him, as if I was looking at a ghost. The same man who once promised me forever. The same man who disappeared when I needed him the most. The same man whose absence destroyed my life, piece by piece. He stood there quietly, looking older somehow, tired, uncertain. But none of that mattered to me, because the moment my eyes met his, all I could hear was the cry of my son echoing inside my head. Kamsi, the child I had carried, the child I had loved, the child I had lost. And suddenly, every painful memory came rushing back like a flood I could no longer hold back. There was a time when I believed love was simple. I used to believe that when someone looked into your eyes and spoke about forever, they meant it. I believed promises were sacred. I believed feelings were enough to keep people from hurting each other. Then, I met Uchenna. From the very beginning, he had a way of speaking that made me feel important, chosen, safe. Whenever he looked at me, it felt like I was the only person in the world he could see. Amara, he would tell me, one day I'll build us a beautiful home, we'll have children, we'll grow old together, I'll never let you suffer. And I believed every word, maybe because I wanted to, maybe because loving him felt easier than doubting him. My friends tried to warn me. I still remember one evening when we sat outside my parents' compound while the evening breeze moved softly through the palm trees. One of my closest friends looked at me carefully and said, "Amara, be careful with Uchenna." I laughed softly. Why? She sighed before answering. It's the way he talks. Everything sounds too perfect, almost like he already knows exactly what you want to hear. Another friend nodded slowly. We're not saying he doesn't care about you. We're just saying, don't lose yourself inside promises. But I defended him immediately. You don't know him like I do. I said, Uchenna loves me. Now, when I think about those words, they hurt more than the heartbreak itself, because I truly believed them at first. Everything felt perfect. Uchenna called often. He spoke about our future constantly. Every conversation made me feel secure. But slowly, things began to change. Sometimes he disappeared for days without explanation. Sometimes his voice felt distant during calls. Sometimes he sounded distracted, like talking to me had become a burden. I noticed all of it. But love has a dangerous way of teaching you how to ignore your own pain. Then one morning, my entire life changed. I sat alone in my room, staring at a pregnancy test in my trembling hands. Positive, I remember my heartbeat becoming so loud. It felt like it filled the room. Fear, joy, confusion, everything hit me at once. But despite my fear, part of me smiled through the tears, because I truly believed the man who promised me forever would stand beside me. That evening, I asked Uchenna to meet me under the mango tree where we used to spend time together. My hands shook as I looked at him. Uchenna, I need to tell you something. He smiled casually. What is it? I took a deep breath. I'm pregnant. I will never forget what happened to his face after that. The smile disappeared instantly. The silence that followed felt cold enough to freeze my blood. He stepped back slowly. Pregnant? He repeated. I nodded. Yes, our baby. Then came the words that shattered me completely. How do I even know it's mine? I remember staring at him like I no longer recognized the person standing in front of me. Uchenna, what are you saying? You promised me. I'm not ready for this, he snapped. I have plans. I can't let this ruin my future. And before I could say another word, he walked away. Just like that. No comfort, no responsibility, no love, only silence. That night, I called him again and again. No answer. I sent messages, nothing. Days passed. Then weeks. Eventually, Uchenna disappeared from my life completely, as if everything we shared had meant nothing to him. But losing him was only the beginning of my suffering. When my pregnancy started showing, the whispers began, neighbors stared. People talked, some blamed me openly, some judged me quietly. Some friends stopped visiting altogether. Even inside my own home, peace disappeared. My parents were hurt and ashamed by what people were saying. Though they allowed me to stay, I could feel the disappointment hanging heavily inside the house every single day. But despite everything, I kept fighting, because inside me, a child was growing. Months later, on a stormy night filled with thunder and heavy rain, I went into labor. The pain was unbearable. I thought my body would break apart. Then finally, I heard him cry, a baby boy. The moment the nurse placed him in my arms, I broke down completely. For the first time in months, my tears were not from pain. They were from love. I looked at my son and whispered, "My child, even if the whole world rejects us, I will love you." I named him Kamsi, because to me, his life meant hope for a while. Kamsi became the only reason I kept going. No matter how hungry I was, I made sure he ate first. I carried him on my back while searching for small jobs. I washed clothes for people, sold fruits by the roadside. Did anything I could just to survive. But life became harder every day. Some nights, I slept hungry so my son could drink milk. The villagers still mocked me. Look at her, the girl who believed empty promises. Where is the father now? Every word wounded me deeply, but nothing hurt more than the day I looked into my son's eyes and realized I had absolutely nothing left to feed him. No food, no money, no help. That night, I held Kamsi tightly while he cried from hunger in my arms. I kissed his forehead again and again, while tears soaked his tiny face. "I'm sorry," I whispered. I'm trying so hard." But love could not fill an empty stomach, and for the first time in my life, I felt defeated. Later that night, after the village had gone quiet, I wrapped Kamsi carefully in my only warm wrapper and carried him through the dark streets. My legs trembled with every step. Eventually, I reached an old roadside bus stop. I sat down, holding him one last time. I kissed his forehead, his cheeks, his tiny fingers. Then I placed a small note inside his wrapper. "His name is Kamsi. Please love him better than life has loved me." I held him tightly for the last time before gently laying him on the wooden bench. Then I turned and started walking away. But after only a few steps, Kamsi began to cry. That sound nearly destroyed me. My entire body froze. Everything inside me screamed to run back and carry him home. And I almost did, God knows. I almost did. But somehow, through tears and pain so deep it felt unbearable, I forced myself to keep walking. Each step felt like my soul was tearing apart. When I finally reached home, my body could barely stand. I tried entering quietly, hoping everyone was asleep. But my mother was waiting. The moment she saw the empty wrapper over my shoulder, fear entered her eyes. "Amara," she whispered, "where is Kamsi?" I tried to speak, but only tears came out. Then I collapsed. I left him. I cried. I left my baby. The entire house woke up. My father shouted in disbelief. My mother screamed and burst into tears. I could barely breathe through my sobbing. I had nothing left. I kept saying he was hungry. I didn't know what else to do. That same night, my father grabbed a lantern and forced me to take them back to the bus stop. The entire journey there, my heart prayed for one thing. Please let him still be there, please. But when we arrived, the bench was empty, the wrapper was gone, and my baby was nowhere to be found. I screamed so loudly, even my own voice frightened me. No, come see. My father searched desperately in the darkness. My mother cried beside me. But whoever took my child had already disappeared. That moment broke something inside me permanently. After that night, life became unbearable. The small room where Kamsi once slept felt haunted by his absence. Every corner reminded me of him. The tiny clothes I had washed by hand, the empty space where he used to sleep beside me, the silence where his crying once lived. I stopped eating properly, stopped speaking much. Some days, my mother would find me sitting outside alone for hours, staring into nothing. Sometimes, I woke up suddenly in the middle of the night because I thought I heard a baby crying beside me. Sometimes I carried one of Kamsi's tiny wrappers against my chest without even realizing what I was doing. I stopped passing through the road that led to the bus stop because even seeing that direction made my chest tighten with guilt. Whenever I heard another woman carrying a crying baby, my whole body froze. And every single night, I heard Kamsi crying inside my head. Every night, I imagined him cold, hungry, frightened, or calling for me somewhere far away from home. The villagers became even crueler. She abandoned her own child. What kind of mother does that? Some people stopped greeting me completely. Even children whispered when I walked past. Days passed slowly after that, painfully. Then one afternoon, while the hot village sun burned heavily overhead, I saw someone standing at our compound entrance. At first, I thought my mind was playing tricks on me. But then he stepped forward slightly, and my heart stopped. It was Uchenna. I had imagined this moment 1,000 times. But now that he stood before me again, all I felt was rage. The man who destroyed my life had finally returned.